Welcome back to Maths with Mrs. J. We've started a series of videos about ratio and rate, and in our first video we learned how to simplify ratios. Just like fractions, we always like to leave our ratios in simplest form. Now we're going to do an example where we use a known ratio to work out an unknown quantity. There are two main methods of doing this. Again, they're equivalent, just like we had two methods of simplifying our fractional ratios. These methods really are the same, they're just set out slightly differently. If I have the ratio of boys to girls in the class is 5 to 7, and I know there are 10 boys and I want to know how many girls there are. Method 1 would be to use equivalent ratios, much like equivalent fractions. So we're saying boys to girls is 5 to 7, and we know that that's the same as 10 is to x, where x is the number of girls. All we really have to do here is think about, well, to go from 5 to 10, I've multiplied by 2. So to go from 7 to x, I also must have multiplied by 2. So x must be 7 times 2, which is 14. So if we let the number of girls be x, so therefore there are 14 girls. An equivalent way of doing it, but just setting it up slightly differently, and this works better if it's not just an integer or rational number times the previous ratio. If I set it up like this, I say 5 is to 7 is 10 is to x, but then I do my fractions like this. So 5 on 10 must be 7 on x. Now what we're going to do is what's called cross multiplication. So 5 times x must be 10 times 7. So your x must be 10 times 7 on 5, which of course we get the same answer as we did before. It'd be a bit of a concern if we didn't. This method will work more, I guess, reliably, you could say. This was easy to do because it just so happened that 10 is only twice 5, so that's easy to work out the maths there. If you have something where you're not going to end up with a whole number answer, then this method is probably the way to go.